Great. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So let's move to the roll call, please.
Okay, President DeWinter,
Here.
Vice President Lynn Harris,
Here.
Trustee Diaz-Nash, Trustee
Here.
Wheeler, thank you,
Oh, I'm sorry, I was on mute here.
thank you, and Trustee Vols.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are considered by the council to be routine and will be enacted by one motion without discussion. If discussion is desired, that item may be removed and considered separately. Does anyone have any items which wish to pull out? I actually had a couple of questions on the financial reports, so I'm going to pull that one out. Okay, may I have a motion for the other three items?
I make a motion that the consent calendar, except for the financial reports, is put up for approval.
I second the motion.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, I'll take a vote on that.
Okay.
President DeWinter, what is your vote?
Aye.
And Vice President Lynn Harris, what is your vote?
Aye.
Trustee Diaz-Nash, what is your vote?
Aye.
And Trustee Vols, what is your vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. So on the financial reports, I just had two quick questions. Where we show negative balances, is that just money that's going to be reallocated from the foundation unrestricted grants?
Yes, that's correct. So
Okay.
yeah, we will be transferring from the unrestricted foundation funds to bring that up to positive.
Okay, that's just a timing issue.
This month. Yeah, it was just the timing.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Did anyone have any other questions on that? And then I had a question on under children's services from October of 2021. There's a revenue of 2717. I was just curious what the revenue is from. And maybe you've already said this before, so I apologize.
Oh, no, that's fine. Yeah, so this one is reimbursement. So we used these funds to purchase some materials before, and we're just using it. We're just, in essence, using the account for the reimbursement, but it isn't an actual a new revenue. But because that revenue went out of the account in the past, and now it's being reimbursed,
Got it.
we have to show that revenue
Got it.
as a revenue.
I just wondered if, yeah, I didn't think we were charging fees for any of our story times or anything. So I just was
Oh, no.
confirmation.
No, yes. So what happens, some of the, we get some grants. For example, last year we got a grant for the summer camp technology program, but we have to spend, so the timing that we have to spend the funds are real short. So we have to spend it out of our account. So we did that last year. So we used the children's account, spent out of it. And then when that grant came in, then we made that deposit. So we just sometimes just use the accounts because the grant is coming, but not yet. And we have until June to make all the purchases that we need for any programming that we have.
Okay, great. Did anyone else have any questions on the financial reports? Okay. I would make a motion to approve the financial reports.
I'll second that.
Okay, President DeWinter, what is your vote?
Aye.
Vice President Lynn Harris, what is your vote?
Aye.
Trustee Diaz-Nash, what is your vote?
Aye.
And Trustee Bowles, what is your vote?
Aye.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. So next we'll go to public comment. Persons wishing to comment on any item not appearing on the agenda may submit to the recording secretary a request to speak form. State law prevents the board from taking action on any matter not on this agenda. Your comments may be referred to staff for further review. Do we have anyone who's requested to speak from the public?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. Okay. The next reports and announcements. So why don't we start with Rakshana, who's sitting for James. We'll hear your report first.
Okay, sure. Thank you, everyone.
And thank you for coming and being here today.
Oh, absolutely, my pleasure. So I have a few items, probably taking about 10 minutes. The first thing I was going to talk about was the grant for Marina Branch, which I think was mentioned at last month's board meeting. So I did go ahead and submit a grant for $1.75 million to the state library for the structural repairs at Marina. Originally, we were thinking of a little bit less than that, but after discussing it with Public Works, we decided that the project might be a bit more expensive. So I worked collaboratively with Public Works to submit the application. And this funding is made available through the Budget Act of 2021, SB 129, which allocated $439 million in one-time funds to the California State Library to address life safety and critical maintenance needs of public library facilities throughout the state. So I applied about a week or so ago, and we should find out in spring or summer of this year whether or not we receive that grant. And those funds need to be expended by the end of March 2026. So we have several years to actually expend the funds, and the application has been submitted. Recently, we had a tour of students from the Nueva School. We were contacted by a Mandarin language teacher there who's a big fan of libraries, and she wanted to arrange a tour for her 11th and 12th grade students. And she recently just sent us a note letting us know that they had a great experience and that they really learned a lot about all of what we do, including the Chinese language collection and how we make selections for that. They also search for books for their project on literature and social justice. And one of our library assistants, Anna Chow, led this tour of students at the library last week. I have an update on our hours. Effective April 11th, the main library will be open until 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and there will be extended evening and morning hours at both Hillsdale and Marina. This is going to be a pilot for 6 months, and at the end of that, we can assess whether or not these new hours are meeting the needs of the community. Right now, we're holding off on adding additional hours on Sunday because we need to figure out some logistics related to staff and scheduling. Last month in February, we over 20 staff from our library attended a training with Brian Dowd. He is a national expert on working with people experiencing homelessness, and his approach is focused on psychology and empathy and based on his experiences running a homeless shelter in Chicago. This training was funded through a grant through the Pacific Library Partnership, and over 100 library staff people attended that are part of PLP member libraries. So we had a very good attendance from our library, but we had a pretty wide impact because people from all over the region attended. And there was positive feedback, a lot of positive feedback about what library staff gained from attending that training. We had several events to commemorate the 80 years ago signing of the Executive Order 9066. And I know several of you attended some of those events that we had. So Children's Services featured 2 authors, Cynthia Katahota and Amy Lee Tai. And for an adult event, we had Steve Okamoto come and share his experiences that his family had at the Tan Fran Assembly Center. And that event was attended by 60 people. We also had displays throughout the library, including on the third floor, and we've received positive feedback from our patrons and appreciation for that display, acknowledging this very important part of history. National Library Week is coming up April 3rd through the 9th, so we have a lot of events planned. I'm going to run through them, what we have. So we'll be celebrating National Library Workers Day on Tuesday, April 5th. We have a poetry event with the San Mateo County Laureate on Friday of that week. And then on Saturday of that week, we're having a concert with jazz trio Charged Particles. And then throughout the week, we're going to have events that are ongoing. So we'll have a Reading Grove display in the lobby of recommendations where members of the public come and post reading recommendations. Children's is going to be do a fill in the blank story in raffle and library themed story times. We're going to have a technology petting zoo, a scavenger hunt, and a golden ticket giveaway by friends of the library. And then the foundation is going to be doing a daily drawing or in the Me Too gift card. So it's going to be an action-packed week. We've got a ton of events. And then lastly, I have just a few more program highlights. The Music at Cold Mansion series continues to be successful. We had a family concert from Sound Impact, and over 100 people attended that with many young children in attendance. And then recently we had a successful YA NovCon event. That's young adult, I think, novel convention, and YA NovCon is short for that. Carla Avatable, who's one of our librarians who oversees team services, is chairperson of the PLS committee that ran that event this year. This is the 7th annual YA NovCon, and it's a collaborative event put on with other PLS libraries. So this event had 4 sessions with 1 virtual Q&A, 12 authors total, and over 200 attendees throughout the day. And patrons and authors both were really excited to be back in person for this type of event, to be able to connect with each other. Our Girls Who Code program started a 13-week class on Python, and this is their first in-person class since before COVID. And then lastly, our Pay It Forward program in children's had 23 people attend the last one, and the SPCA brought pigeons. So what the kids did at this event is they made Valentine decorations to decorate the cages and the area that the animals are kept in for adoption. And every month they do something different for a different community-based organization. So that is my update. Happy to take any questions or comments.
I bet the pigeons were happy. That's
Trustee Lynn Harris?
Yes, thank you very much, Rakshana, very, very much. Just a quick question about the hours. Is the hours program that you're going to be beginning, is that what we heard a month ago, like the 2 hours in it? Okay, thank you.
Pretty much.
Okay.
The only difference is that, so Monday through Thursday, the additional evening hour from 7 to 8 p.m., that's really straightforward. And then we're adding on at the branches, one day they'll be open until 6, and one day they'll be open until 7 at both branches. And then we're going to open at 10 o'clock on Fridays, which, we had been opening at noon prior. So the part that is remaining, that's most of the hours. The only part that's remaining is to figure out what we'll do with Sundays. So it's very similar to what you had heard about the last meeting. A bit that has to be figured out, sure.
Do you know how long that will take to decide on the Sunday morning situation?
Hopefully not that much longer. I think we want to figure it out in the next few weeks to a month, and then implement it later for the next Sunday schedule. We typically plan the Sundays 8 weeks in advance. So we're already planning the next 8 weeks right now in terms of our staffing and who's going to be in the building. So we would try to finish planning for it and then implement it later.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Yes, I do.
Oh, sorry, Trustee Diaz-Nass.
No problem. Thank you, Rakshana, so much. It's just so exciting to see and hear about real in-person programs. I'm sure all of you are just incredibly motivated. And I would love to do my best to start promoting that to help people understand. And I'm sure all our fellow board members would love to do that too, since that's one of our primary roles as, board trustees. So I'm wondering, is there a list of all the events that are happening during National Library Week? Because I've seen a lot of promotion of the week itself, but not a list of all the different events. Is there something available you could share with us?
Go ahead, Lynn.
Lynn.
You may have gotten a library link today. I did. And we will be there are probably 500 copies that will be distributed in the libraries branches. So you can swing by and pick one of those up. I also sent out an email with an electronic copy, and it's available on the foundation's website. Those are really good summaries. It probably doesn't have everything. I'm not sure what the festivities are for National Library Workers Day, but most everything else is in there because we tried to work with library staff to capture it. So I would really point people to that as a comprehensive your guide, and also because it's the foundation.
Yes, oh, absolutely. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And then
Just,
just
oh,
one
go ahead. I'm sorry.
other question. Is there, we talked about how the hours are similar to what we saw. Is there some place where the actual library hours for the main branch, the two branches are available? So if I run into someone who says, well, what are the Marina hours? I can say, da 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 da, da versus the main, just to have them there. Because I've gotten a lot of questions from people about it.
Yeah, good question. So we'll be putting the hours on our website soon.
Okay.
Hopefully by the end of this week, we'll be putting the new hours on our front page just to announce it. And then once it becomes effective, we'll change our website where it says library hours and locations, and we'll change everything there. We're also announcing it in our e-newsletter, which goes to thousands of cardholders. And then we'll put some information on social media as well. Same thing with National Library Week. I put a link in the chat that goes to our website where we have just a little bit of a presence there. The library link does look really great. And so I would, definitely recommend directing people to that. So,
Super.
and also our event calendar on our website. All of the events are in the event calendar.
Yeah, great. And I am assuming that the final elimination is a reality now. The fact that it was passed at City Council, it's now the letter of the law.
Yes.
Okay, good. Thank you. That's all my questions, and congratulations.
Great, thank you. Trustee Lynn Harris.
Thank you, President DeWinter. Quick question about the grant. I believe it was you may have mentioned this, I'm sorry if you did, a 1.25 match, and you mentioned we applied for 1.75. So is it still a match? Is the city going 1.75? So is the total projected scope of the project now 3.5 versus 2.5? What's the status of the 1.25 match versus now possibly 1.75?
That's correct. So it's 1.75 that we applied for, and the city agreed to match that amount if we get the grant. That's a requirement of the grant. Is that the jurisdiction has to match it. So the total project cost is estimated at 3.5.
Wow. So was there a subsequent assessment that kind of escalated it from 2.5 to 3.5, or is it 3.5, or is it just like, let's play it safe and have, the kind of the soft cost / buffer for the extra $1 million?
Public Works, they recently did a study and an assessment, and I attached all those documents to the grant. And there's a budget, the worksheet is part of the grant process. And so in talking with Public Works, I think they felt that maybe the lower amount, the 1.25, had perhaps been a bit of an underestimate. And so the new cost was more realistic in terms of how much everything is likely to cost. And also with these projects, the grant allowed, I think, a 10%, what do you call that, kind of buffer, or I know there's a technical term for it, but you can never predict what some of those overages are. So that's built into it as well.
Thank you. And then the other thing is not a question per se. I'm sure I'm sure my fellow board members would be happy to serve as greeters at the library during library week for a little bit if that was acceptable to people. It'd be kind of fun to greet our customers. That would be great.
That's a great idea.
I had a question about, is it Ryan Dowd who spoke about homelessness in libraries? I don't know if I got his name correct.
Ryan.
Ryan Dowd. And I was curious if there was anything that stood out to you that you would want to share about recommendations that might be applied to our library branches.
Yeah, let me think about that for a minute. He had so much good content to share. It was really engaging. It was a 4-hour virtual training. And I think the main thing that stood out to me is his whole approach is based on empathy and understanding, what the experiences are of people who are experiencing homelessness. And he talks about this concept of pennies in the cup. So it's really about building relationships and having the relationship be the way that you are able to get patrons to abide by your rules. So every time, he recommends saying hi to people, asking them how they're doing, engaging with them when they're not causing any issues in the library. And that concept is pennies in the cup, so that when you do need to ask someone to stop doing something, a behavior that may be against your rules, then you've already built all that sort of goodwill. And so I think that's a great concept in general. And so he gives like really good kind of tips. He also gave a lot of good tips just on nonverbal body language and how to position yourself, how to talk, your tone of voice. So very actionable and concrete things that we could use with all kinds of patrons, really.
Excellent. Thank you. Great presentation.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Shaylon, I just wanted to say welcome and just to see, I don't know how much you heard there, but if you had any questions so far, comments or anything, I just want to give you a chance to speak.
Thank you. Yeah.
Great. So if there's no other questions, thank you so much, Roxana, and we can move on to Lynn Esselstyn. And I just want to make a point that this is Lynn's last meeting for now in this role as Executive Director for the Foundation. So we will definitely miss you, Lynn.
Thank you,
And
Liz. It's delightful working with you all of my 4.5 years with the foundation. And actually, it's just been marvelous working with the entire Board of Trustees, all of the various people that I've had the opportunity to serve with. As a little personal note, I wanted to let you know I bring good tidings from Don and Ann Hill. My husband and I had the opportunity to see them up in Cloverdale about a month ago, and they're doing well. We met his husband and his husband. So I'm sorry, his son and his husband. That's what I meant to say. Anyway, he's doing great. But back on to there is business to be done. Before my last day, which is April 15th, we have National Library Week. As I put I put 2 links into the chat in case you're interested. The first one takes you to the landing page of the Foundation's website where we have our contest. You can go ahead and enter for a chance to win an Amici's gift certificate every day during National Library Week. There's also a link further down the page to tell you more about National Library Week. And I also sent you the direct link where you can download a copy of Library Link if you have not received one in the mail or picked one up from the library. So please, I urge all of you to promote National Library Week. This is our spring fundraising center piece this year because we are not doing a gala. So we do have some sponsors. We have 4 gold sponsors presenting various programs that are happening in the library, everything from what do I want to say, the 2nd annual youth poetry contest, which is something that we did last year at the gala. And that award ceremony will be on Wednesday, April 6th at 6 p.m. Immediately preceding that event from 4 to 6 p.m. is a reception, our first in-person party of sorts that we have had in 2 years. It will be informal, come as you are, champagne, small nibbles, an opportunity to thank our sustaining leadership circle donors, as well as those donors who have become Legacy Fund founding members. And the Legacy Fund is the quasi-endowment that's being established in order to ensure the security of the future of the library. There will be a plaque dedication during that program. We are still working on securing a local dignitary. We would love to be able to connect with Mayor Bonilla. I had sent him an email last week, but if any of you know him personally and could assist us with reaching out, he's also emceeing the Poet Laureate program on Friday for National Poetry Month. And I would encourage everybody to attend that. That's not a presented by program for the foundation, but I actually heard Aileen, who is the Poet Laureate, and I will mangle her last name because I don't remember it exactly. And she read a poem at a reception I attended last week, and it was marvelous. And it kind of reminds you what a deep connection poetry can really make to people's emotional states. So I think there will be, I think there's like a dozen people that will be reading, all poets of some note and merit. Other presented by opportunities, we have the Reading Grove, we have the Charged Particles concert, and the Technology Petting Zoo. So you can read more about that. You'll probably get some emails from us. But all of you are invited to attend the reception on April 6th between 4 and 6 p.m. Like I said, it is intended to be warm and welcoming and an opportunity primarily to be social, but just to thank people for sticking with us and sharing our vision all through the pandemic. Other news, this April, we will be returning to in-person meetings in the Oak Room. So the foundation board is kind of excited. They've missed working with each other. I think that is a common characteristic of volunteering, is that you do it because you get to hang out with people you like. COVID's made that very difficult. So I know my board is very, very excited about that. They will be also doing, I think, some strategic planning. And I think that's pretty much all I have. Oh, I will say we are still looking for an executive director. So it's a part-time position. I have the job description. If any of you are interested or know somebody who might be a qualified candidate to come and do this really important work for the library, by all means, reach out. And I'm happy to connect and get that process started, make that connection for you.
Oh, Trustee Diaz-Nash.
Yeah, thank you so much, Lynn. That's great. And boy, we are going to miss you, but we know where you are, so you're not going to be that far away. And
I'm local.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
going too far.
I'm a big supporter of the library still, and we'll see you in the stacks. But if Mayor Bonilla's schedule or whatever prevents him from attending the event, are you thinking of either Councilmember Pappen or Rodriguez, just because Pappen because she's the vice mayor, but Pappen and Rodriguez because they both live in the neighborhood?
That would be delightful. To be honest with you, I had thought somebody from the committee that is organizing the event had been working on this already, and it was just brought to my attention last week that they were hoping to have the board president make the outreach, since he doesn't know them very well. He asked me to do it. So I'm asking for any assistance, especially if you
I
have
can
political
certainly-
connections.
I can help you with that.
Yeah, Diane would be fabulous because she's been very, very close to us. So yes, I will connect with you for sure.
And she's the library rep, so that'd be great. Thank you. That's my question.
Yeah, I was just thinking I had one more thing I was going to mention to you. President Winter, if I remember, may I interrupt?
Of course.
I apologize. My brain.
I
But no.
understand. Of course. And by the way, your shoes will be very hard to fill.
Well,
But I'll
I
give you-
hope not too hard. I expect that the foundation will find a very enthusiastic and professional person to fill this role, and they will have as much satisfaction working with all of the library staff and all of you and the foundation board as much as I have for the last 4.5 years. It really has been enriching beyond what I thought it could be. This is a fantastic community asset, and the work that's done here and the work that the foundation does to support the library is inspiring on a day-to-day basis. So
Thank you. Thank you for everything.
absolutely.
Okay. So we're going to move on to the trustees' reports. I have a brief report, but you actually reminded me of something that I should start with, which Dean and I spoke about before the meeting kicked off, which is that our May meeting will likely be our first in-person meeting. So not the next one, but we think the one after. So stay tuned. And the only other thing I wanted to mention was I attended the Library Foundation board meeting on March 15th. And I can't think of anything else I did with the library since the last meeting. So that's my report. And maybe I'll turn it over to Trustee Lynn Harris. Oh, you're muted.
There you go.
There you
Sorry
go.
about that.
That's okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I will reiterate my thank you, President DeWinter. I did not do anything tangible library related. What I did is what I like to do from time to time, a couple little walkthroughs. I just kind of walk around the main branch and one or both of the other branches. And it's just, I mean, it's just a very, very impressive. They're all very, very impressive. And what I really noticed is just the warmth and the atmosphere. I mean, the places are immaculate. They're inviting. And there's just a wonderful, wonderful spirit there. So that's a testament to the entire team. And I just wanted to note that. And also, of course, I would be remiss if I were not to say thank you so much to Lynn. It has been a tremendous delight, joy, and very, very beneficial from kind of a selfish library San Mateo standpoint. So thanks for everything.
Great, thank you. Trustee Bowles?
Yeah, I don't have really any updates either for going to the library. And I have though volunteered to be one of the judges for the youth poetry contest.
Excellent.
So I'm excited to get those. That'll be next week. And then to meet them in person and the actual reception.
Yeah, I
That's
will say
great.
we did plan it that way so that you can come by and have a glass of a refreshments and then stick around and watch them get their rewards, which they'll be able this year to be doing a poetry recitation, which they had to videotape last time and we didn't have enough time for them to actually read their work. So we're quite excited that this year, it's a slow roll, but we're really hoping to build momentum.
Yeah, that'll be great.
So thank you very much for doing that. It's it's just great to see young people get into this. It's really fun.
Totally.
Great, thank you. Trustee Wheeler?
Good evening, everyone. I don't have any updates per se, but I'm excited to go to the April 6th event. So that'd be a great opportunity for me to do something and see the community and support.
Great. Well, it'd be nice to meet you in person as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And Trustee Vols as well. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Trustee Diaz-Nash.
I, like Trustee Lynn Harris, have been wandering through the library and branches and just enjoying so much. And I've heard from a lot of adults, I don't know whether this, just to throw it into the suggestion hopper, they are itching to have book sales, both in terms of buying them and also in terms of donating books. And I've told everyone, we've got to get back to sort of stability and feeling good and process and all that. But there is a great appetite in the community for the Friends of the Library to get that program going again. I also wanted to say to Lynn that my husband and I received an Oscar bucket because we were one of the supporters for the Legacy Foundation. And it was just everyone, it was so well done. It was just sort of a little fun thing on the way too. And there was everything from popcorn to candy, like movie theater size candy, and a little split of champagne and an Oscar ballot. And we had some friends over last night for the Oscars. And we actually gave that to the person who got the most answers right. So thank you very much for that. They were very excited about it, and it had a little Oscar statue in it. So maybe that will become a legacy every year.
Just slapped them.
Exactly. And that's exciting about the May meeting. Thank you for letting us know. And a question, I don't know whether this is possible, but I just think it would be wonderful if we could invite the winner or winners of the Youth Poetry Contest to a subsequent board meeting and have them share their poetry with us. Because I just think that would be lovely for us. And I think it would be wonderful recognition for them as well.
Thank you. I love that idea. And actually, just before you said that, I was thinking I hadn't asked if anyone had any ideas for future agenda topics. So that is our first one of the day. Does anyone else have any suggestions, or other topics you'd like to learn more about on a future meeting? And if you can't think of something now, you can always send me an email, and I'm happy to bring it up with Librarian James. But Trustee Diaz-Nash.
I'd love to get back to the branches. We started that before. We did one branch meeting at Marina, but I think it would be great to go to Hillsdale and have a meeting as that's possible, and then go back to Marina.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Dean and I are actually talking about that as well, because there's going to be some logistical issues for a little while where we have to figure out how to do the hybrid. And then if you add on to that doing the hybrid in person and online at another location, we'll just need some time to figure that out. But I agree. I think we should kind of make a habit of doing that at least annually, visiting each of the branches and doing a meeting. So that's a good one. Anybody else? Marcia?
Thank you. So I have in regards to the donations and the sales for the Friends of the Library. So I'm still in charge of the volunteering efforts. So as far as donations, we are planning, we're ready. We were trying to get all of the donations we received processed before we opened up, before we resumed our regular donations through the lobby, because we're still taking donations on a regular basis, but the public has to call the admin office and schedule an appointment, and it's been working really well. But we are now at the point where we're ready to resume donations as they used to be, where they just come in with their donations and bring them to the lobby. So we are planning for that, and mid-April is our target, and we'll probably, most likely mid-April will be done. As far as sales, we cannot plan for a large sale yet because the health situation is still very fluid, and it takes a lot of planning. for that large sale. So we will not have a large sale this year, but I've been talking to Paul and Carla, our librarians, who have been excellent helpers with the Friends of the Library effort. So we're thinking of smaller sales. We'll host different events in a few months. So it would be smaller scale, but it will still be fun, just as fun as the large one. Because those we can plan for. And if something goes wrong, if there is a surge again, it's going to be easy to manage.
That's great to hear. Great. Does anyone else have any? Yes, please. Did you think of what you were trying to think of?
Well, yes, all of the things, but I just wanted to echo Marcia's comments about the Friends of the Library, and specifically compliment her and Carla and Paul for helping the very lean volunteer ranks at this point continue to sell books and receive them. You can see it on the foundation's statement of activity that those sales are picking up, and it's exciting to see that revenue come in again, because it really does help with collection maintenance and support. But I also understand, I mean, it was a tough 3-day sale, even when they were fully staffed, to plan for every September. So doing little sort of more bite-sized chunks may be, in fact, a more sustainable way going forward. But I think for Marcia's sanity and to really begin to build this back into the robust Friends experience we all remember pre-COVID, I'm looking forward to the library and Marcia finally being able to hire somebody to take it over, because it just seems like that will be the real magic wand to bringing more people in, getting folks back excited about being on the Friends, and then having volunteers, help the staff, or at least take it over finally again, so that the librarians and Marcia aren't having to basically run Friends of the Library for the Friends. So I look forward to that. What I wanted to say, well, first of all, and I also want to thank Trustee Diaz-Nash, because I forgot to mention the Oscar buckets, but those were given to our Leadership Circle donors. Those are the folks that are $1,000 and above for every year. They are sustaining bedrock people that make sure that we have grants to give to the library, and we normally have an in-person event for those folks with a program, and it's kind of, we try and put on the dog and let them know how grateful we are. And it just really wasn't time yet to be in person, at least kind of a substantial way that we normally do it. So that we found was a pretty creative thing. And I just want to say it has been really popular. People just were so charmed by it. It's a bunch of red vines and, well, a little champagne, but it was very cute. Anyway, I'm glad you appreciate it. I'm glad you enjoyed it. The last thing I did want to say, I just want to let you know that I've met with Renee Theory, who is the representative for the African American Library Advisory Committee, and the foundation will be collaborating with them to help them put on the Jelani Cobb event in October this fall. And I just want to emphasize how delighted the foundation is to be collaborating with this cultural committee from the library. We would love to be doing more of that work with other cultural committees in addition to AALAC. But it's a feather in my cap. I'm just sorry it took so long to put it there after 4.5 years to finally have a dialogue and a project to work on with these folks, because they are huge library supporters, and we just love teaming up with them. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that that event is October 1st. Put it on your calendar. It's going to be amazing. They're going to have it at CSM, and he is going to be a very dynamic speaker. So you'll hear more about it from us.
And if I can interrupt and second everything that Lynn is saying, and if Lynn and the committee were not so great at putting this all together for CSM with the Library Foundation, San Francisco State was very interested in hosting this very same event. So it's another feather in your cap that it's at CSM and not up at San Francisco State.
And I should mention, by the way, that the foundation has done next to nothing to do this. Well, we're trying to do the AALAC is incredibly organized and well motivated. They do not need much from us other than some marketing assistance and ticket sales and things, but we're just happy to be in their shadow, waving a rah-rah flag for them. But the relationship with CSM is really important because there are a lot of community members that attend CSM, and CSM just installed a new president who happens to be an African-American woman. So the AALAC is also hosting a reception for her on April 14th. My guess is that the trustees will be invited, and if you have not received an invitation, I'll make sure that Renee knows to extend one to you. But it's just a meet and greet so that she can get to know our community as well. And I think that's going to be another really wonderful relationship for this library to have, because we serve the greater San Mateo City area, but they serve the entire county, and we're all about education. So it's terrific. And tip of the hat to AALAC. They just know all these people. I cannot believe how great their network is.
Did you say that was April 16th, that reception?
14th.
The 14th, it's a Thursday night.
Got it. Thank you. Excellent. Any other thoughts, questions? Yes, Trustee Lynn Harris.
I just wanted to also give kudos to the Oscar basket. It actually prompted my wife and me to go to the movies that very night, because half the chat, we had the licorice, we had the pot, we were ready to go. So it actually, not only did it save us money in that way, but it helped the San Mateo economy. We went to the movies and stuff, so thank you. And then the other thing is, just for what I said earlier, I'm happy to, for what it's worth, do a little greeting during the library week for a little bit of time, if that would be something that would be, I think that'd be good for us to do, a little bit of time. So whatever you guys want, just the offer's there. Thank you. That's it.
Great. Well, I think that's it for today. No one else. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for being here. And I hope to see most of you, if not all of you, on the April 6th at the April 6th reception. And
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm adjourning the meeting.
Thank you.
This is fast. Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks
Yeah,
everybody.
everything.
Great
night.
meeting, President DeWinter.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Very efficient. Thank you,
Thank you,
Rexana.
everybody.
Thank you, Marcia.
Thank you, Rakshana.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.